Hey guys, it's Deborah. Um, as you may know from my past video, I talked about that they just found more Dead Sea Scrolls or scrolls in a cave. They also found the world's oldest basket and a mummified 6,000-year-old female child in it. They found coins and other things. So basically, I had talked before about one of the verses that they found in the cave, which was from Nahum. They found two books, Nahum and Zechariah, from what I understand. And Nahum was talking all about the judgment of the world. So if you didn't see that video, check that video out. It's called, I think, End Time Warning Found in a Cave. So basically, this video is going to be about the second part of that, and it's going to be about Zechariah. So at first I was like, let me just read Nahum, and whoa, that verse was crazy. It was literally about the end times. And then when I read Zechariah, I was like, are you kidding me? This is all about the end times. So you got it. So if they found these verses right now, that's for a reason. So, and the other stuff they found. So I want to kind of touch on those things, and I'm going to read quite a bit of Zechariah with you guys, and then just to go over the things that are I think the important verses, but clearly there's specific verses they found, and I believe that's God speaking to us. So let me just read from this article here. It says, the scroll fragments discovered by the team were a Greek copy of the 12 minor prophets. This is the last part of the prophet section of the Bible from Hosea to Malachi, the shorter prophetic books. 11 lines of text were preserved on the fragments, which turned out to be from the books of Nahum and Zechariah. So basically the only ones they could find preserved were from these two books. The Dead Sea Scrolls unit examined the script and determined that it was the product of two different scribes. The passages are as follows. These are the things you are to do. Speak the truth, speaking truth in love, to one another. Render true and perfect justice in your gates, and do not contrive evil against one another, and do not love perjury, because all those, that's lying. So again, truth is key, what he's trying to say to God right now, because all those are things that I hate, declares the Lord. Zechariah 8:16-17. And then the Nahum verse, I'll just repeat it again, but I did do it in my last video. The mountains quake because of him, and the hills melt. The earth heaves before him, the world and all that dwell therein. Who can stand before his wrath? Who can resist his fury? His anger pours out like fire, and rocks are shattered because of him. Nahum 1:5-6. So if you're going to find only two verses in a cave randomly, why are you going to find these ones? The first one you can say, well, it's just some judgment or whatever, but I did find it funny that literally my channel name is Speaking Truth in Love, and I see the word speak the truth at the top, but the second verse is clearly, it's, about an earthquake. I've had a awake vision of an earthquake, as well as my neighbor had an awake vision of an earthquake. We lived next door to each other, and we both had an awake vision of an earthquake that never happened. I've never felt an earthquake in Canada. I know nothing of earthquakes. We literally awake were an earthquake that never happened, that no one else in our houses felt but us. So anyway, and we didn't know we felt it until we talked, and we're like, that happened to me too. Anyway, regardless, that's going to happen. He's just really just trying to say, this is it, giving all the warnings, even though he gives the warnings, even though he knows most won't care. He gives it so that, I don't know why he gives it, but I believe is that later people don't have an excuse. I mean, you just have no more excuses. So now for those who are interested, I'm going to read through some of Zechariah, just highlighted pieces that I think are really, really important to the time that we're in, and why I think God let these verses come to light at this time, and that they are indeed a warning. So I'm going to just turn in the Bible and read through those verses, and then I'll come back and talk to you and just finish out the video. Hey, so here we are reading Zechariah. I'm using NIV just because some of the words were hard to understand in King James, but I typically use King James. But anyway, so let's just start from here. I highlighted some verses that I just wanted to, I'm not going to read the whole thing, just that I thought were interesting and relevant to us right now. So the man among the myrtle trees. On the 24th day of the 11th month, the month of Shebat, in the second year of Darius, the word of the Lord came to prophet Zechariah, son of Berechiah, the son of Iddo. During the night, I had a vision, and there before me was a man mounted on a red horse. He was standing among the myrtle trees in a ravine. Behind him were red, brown, and white horses. So already you see this is very similar to Revelation, because there are several horses. Some are red, brown, and white. So they're not exactly the same as would be, let's see what it says in KJV. Let's see. Okay, here it says, and behind him were their red horses, speckled and white. So speckled is kind of like the green, but you don't see the black horse. So it's kind of like Revelation, but not exactly, but you'll see it'll get more and more like Revelation, but it's very similar. There's a similar thing that he's seeing. Therefore, this is what the Lord said, I will return to Jerusalem with mercy, and there my house will be rebuilt, and the measuring line will be stretched out over Jerusalem, declares the Lord Almighty. So here, remember when John said, when the angel told John in Revelation, take a measuring stick and measure the temple. So here you have Zechariah, very similar things. He sees horses. They're not exactly the same because there's no black one. The brown is really speckled, which could be like the green. No, yeah, the green one. Oh yeah, because I think in Revelation it says were they speckled? Oh gosh, I can't even remember now. But yeah, they were missing the black one. So the speckled, I think, is always like the green one because there's red, white, green, and black. So I think the green is always supposed to be like the speckled one. Anyway, so then here it says he was seeing a measuring line and measured over Jerusalem, which is very similar to Revelation when he said John was told to take a measuring stick and measure the temple. Okay, there'll be more. So a man with a measuring line. Then I looked up, and there before me was a man with a measuring line in his hand. And I asked, where are you going? He answered me, to measure Jerusalem to find how wide and how long it is. Now, there is actually a place where Elijah, I believe, was it Elijah? Oh my gosh. No, it was Daniel. Daniel saw John. Oh gosh. Like my friend actually found this. Saw John in heaven. I can prove it. There is actually a verse where Daniel says, I saw a man and he was wearing such and such clothing. Then I saw an angel standing next to him. One foot was on the water, one foot was on the land. One hand was hanging, arm was up, one arm was down. Anyway, Daniel saw John the Revelator, okay? John. Daniel saw him in heaven. Daniel, who lived thousands of years, I think it's thousands of years before John, or hundreds at least, if not thousands. So these are crazy things. Right here, Zechariah could be seeing John as well. Like, I don't know, because John actually took a measuring line and had to measure the temple, but this is him measuring Jerusalem. So who knows, but I can prove it that Daniel saw John in heaven. I just don't have that on me right now. I've done it before, a video on my old channel. Anyway, let's keep going. So this is cool stuff. Come Zion, escape, you who live in daughter Babylon. So that's another thing I wanted to point out in Zechariah. As you see, I'm not reading the whole thing. I'm just going through the parts that I think there's a reason why, I know there's a reason why these verses were found in that cave. So, and it's 4 times such as this. So it's talking about escaping Babylon. So see the similarities to the book of Revelation. There's some more here. Clean garments for the high priest. Then he showed me Joshua, the high priest, standing before the angel of the Lord, and Satan. So you got Satan in heaven and you got Joshua standing at his right side to accuse him. The Lord said to Satan, the Lord rebuke you, Satan. The Lord who has chosen Jerusalem rebuke you. Is not this man a burning stick snatched from the fire? Now Joshua was dressed in filthy clothes as he stood before the angel. The angel said to those who were standing before him, take off his filthy clothes. Then he said to Joshua, see, I have taken away your sin, and I will put fine garments on you, the white raiment. Then I said, put a clean turban on his head. So they put a clean turban on his head and clothed him while the angel of the Lord stood by. The angel of the Lord gave this charge to Joshua. This is what the Lord Almighty says. If you will walk in my obedience to me and keep my requirements, then you will govern my house and have charge of my courts, and I will give you a place among these standing. So does this not sound like when he takes off it's a symbolic of grace, obviously, but it doesn't also sound like when we get our white raiment in heaven. But anyway, basically, I think this is very symbolic of the white raiment we're going to get. And he takes a turban off his head. Now, I thought he puts a clean turban. I thought it was a crown, because if you read the King James wording, it sounds like a crown. That's why I had to use this, because there's a couple different things in here that if you don't, you won't even know what they're talking about. So, it's fine to use the King James and then just refer back, but just for ease's sake, I'm doing this. So let's keep going. And then the lampstands and the 2 olive trees. Then the angel who talked with me returned and woke me up like someone awakened from sleep. He asked me, what do you see? I answered, I see a solid gold lampstand with a bowl at the top and 7 lamps on it. It looks like a menorah with 7 channels to the lamps. Also, there are 2 olive trees by it, one on the right of the bowl and the other on the left. I asked the angel who talked with me, what are these, my Lord? I guess he can keep going. Do you not know what these are? No, my Lord, I replied. So he said to me, this is the word of the Lord of Zerubbabel, not by might or power, but my spirit, says the Lord Almighty. What are your mighty mountains before Okay, I'm not going to read all of that. So basically, you can read this, of course, but basically, it's just the same as Revelation. You know, there's the 7 lampstands, and they're the spirits of God, that the spirits of the churches that go out into the earth. And it's very similar terms here. So, like I said, I believe this was all found in the cave because he's referring us to Revelation, to the end. And yeah. So here, verse 11, then I asked the angel, what are these 2 olive trees on the right and the left of the lampstand? Again, I asked him, what are these 2 olive branches beside the 2 gold pipes that pour out golden oil? He replied, do you not know what these are? No, my Lord, I said. So he said, these are the 2 who are anointed to serve the Lord of all the earth. So that sounds like the 2 witnesses. That does. Okay, the flying scroll. I looked again, and there before me was a flying scroll. He asked me, what do you see? I answered, I see a flying scroll, 20 cubits long and 10 cubits wide. And he said to me, this is the curse that is going out over all the land. For according to what it says on the side, every thief will be banished. And according to what it says on the other, everyone who swears falsely will be banished. So this is exactly like the seals. They're in a scroll, and the seals go out into the earth. So we have the horses, similar but not the same. And we have this scroll, very similar. The woman in a basket. Now, like, this is, what did they just find? The oldest basket ever to be found. And there was actually a girl in it. It was a girl child they found in it. And she was dated to be 6,000 years old. And this basket is the oldest basket. You think this is a coincidence? No. Then the angel who was speaking to me came forward and said to me, look up and see what is happening. I asked, what is it? He replied, it is a basket. And he added, this is the iniquity of the people throughout the land. Then the cover of the lead was raised, and there in the basket sat a woman. The reason I also wanted to use NIV for this was because it calls it an ephah and other things, and it's just hard to understand what it means. But I haven't looked for errors, so there could be errors because the NIV has problems. So then the cover of the lead was raised, and there in the basket sat a woman. He said, this is wickedness, and he pushed her back into the basket and pushed its lead cover down on it. Then I looked up, and there before me were 2 women with the wind in their wings. They had wings like those of a stork, and they lifted up the basket between heaven and earth. Where are they taking the basket? I asked the angel who was speaking to me. He replied, to the country of Babylonia, to build a house for it. When the house is ready, the basket will be set there in its place. So I haven't prayed on this. I haven't studied this. I'm sorry. I've studied this in the past, actually probably like 2 years ago with my neighbor. We went in deep study on this. But this is for another day, or you guys can study it or give me your opinions in the comments. But basically, there is no mistake. There is no coincidence that they found that basket with a little girl. They realized it was a female, which is so sad. But anyway, it was 6,000 years old, and it's basically like a female in a basket. And there's no way. And then they find Zechariah also in there. And yeah, so, but it's considered wickedness. This is wickedness, what is in the basket. So I don't really know what to make of this, but it's going back into Babylon. And so maybe, yeah, I'm not going to try to guess, but I just want to show you the similarities to what they found in the cave, and also the fact that this is so similar to the end times, because I can't remember what's the similarity in Revelation. You can remind me if you remember, but could have sworn there was something, but it could be, oh yeah, because that Israel is taken away with 2 wings of an eagle or something carried off. And this is 2 wings, 2 women with wings carried the basket off. And some people believe the basket, the woman is Israel. I don't know. So anyway, I just wanted to bring this up, but if you have any other ideas on it, let me know. Okay, so now we're getting close to the end. Zechariah 6, 4 chariots. I looked up again, and there before me were 4 chariots coming out from between 2 mountains, mountains of bronze. The first chariot had red horses, the second black horses, the third white, and the fourth dappled. Dappled is like the green and speckled. All of them powerful. See, this is totally them. So the first time he saw it, not so much. This time, definitely. I asked the angel who was speaking to me, what are these, my Lord? The angel answered, these are the 4 spirits of heaven going out from standing in the presence of the Lord of the whole world. Then it talks about where they go. So the black ones go north, some of them go south and all over, whatever. You can read that for yourself, but this is exactly the same as Revelation. Okay, then the crown for Joshua. So remember I said, I thought Joshua had a crown when he got his white robe, but at first it said he put a turban on him, but now this is like, I guess, the crowning ceremony. And remember, it said if he walks in righteousness or whatever, then he'll rule. So the garment, the white, was like the grace, because it said, it said, this is taking away your sin or whatever. I can't remember what I just read, but the white is taking away his filth. Okay. So that's when you're covered in grace, like we are, like when you believe in Jesus. But then it said, if you want to rule or whatever, walk in my righteousness or whatever. So I don't know if that's symbolic or whatever about how we get our positions. I don't know when we rule and reign for 1,000 years and even in heaven and whatever, like if we have positions of hierarchy because of how we lived. I'm not sure, but I think yes. And it says, then he will rule and reign, because it always says, to the overcomer, I will give that he will sit on thrones with me. To the overcomer, I'll give you a crown. To the overcomer, you will rule with me. So I think there's something to do with that. And here's the crown part. Anyway, the word of the Lord came to me. Take silver and gold from the exiles, Heldai, Tobijah, and Jedediah, who have arrived from Babylon. Go the same day to the house of Josiah, son of Zephaniah. Take the silver and gold and make a crown and set it on the head of the high priest, Joshua, son of Jozadak. Tell him this is what the Lord Almighty says. Here is the man whose name is the branch, and he will branch out from his place and build the temple of the Lord. So basically, it's interesting that, let me see here, that they're making a crown and putting it on Joshua's head. Now, there's probably a lot of symbolism here, not just one thing, because Joshua represents kind of like Jesus too. He's the branch, and but I think it's also symbolic. We're all like Jesus. Remember, we're all going to be priests and kings. And I just want to say one quick thing. Sometimes, I like to just speak my thoughts out loud. So many times, really, most of the time. So it may sound like I'm not sure of myself or whatever. And there are areas I'm not 100%, but I'm fine with that. So I've had a few comments lately with which whatever, I do not care. I'm just putting it out there because I'm hoping it will stop people from putting the comments, and it sometimes does help, but it may not. But what I want to say is like, some people are like, you're confused, you sound confused, you should stop because of that, blah, 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 whatever. All I know for sure is you're not right. You're completely working from the enemy and all that kind of stuff. And it's clear. It's like so obvious. So it's not a thing for me. I'm not confused. And in the parts I am confused, God clears it up for me. I don't have any worry about any of this stuff. Like when I read this stuff, I feel complete confidence that even if I don't know something, he'll reveal it to me if I really search and seek. I know how to seek out God. I know how to find the answer. Some things I just don't have the time to find out the answer for every single thing. And that's okay. If it's only because I just want to keep the comment section happy and, good vibes only. Like, I just don't need it. There's nobody else needs it. Nobody needs to hear from you. And most of the time, I think you're just talking on behalf of Satan. So basically, it's just obvious. I just want to say that because my speaking style is that way. I talk out loud. What goes in my brain comes out of my mouth. And that's part of the whole truth aspect of who I am. If you don't like it, go away. Majority of people do like it, and you don't have to. But some of you are speaking on behalf of Satan, your father. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I feel complete confidence because the Lord gives me that confidence. And also what I don't know, I just ask him. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so in 7, I didn't highlight anything. In 8, this is where I think these are the verses that were found in the cave. Okay, these are the things you are to do. Speak the truth to each other and render true and sound judgment in your courts. Do not plot evil against each other and do not love to swear falsely. I hate all this, declares the Lord. Okay, so basically this is, look at what it says. So what they found in the cave says, speak the truth. My channel is called Speaking Truth in Love. Just even those two words are there, speak truth. Speaking truth in love. So I was really excited when I saw that because I just gave my little spiel, and trust me guys, you don't need to console me. I'm fine. I'm just giving the spiel so people lessen the comments, but I'm fine. I'm only saying it for that one reason. But to me, this was like a huge confirmation blessing for me because I know part of my appeal and part of why people listen to me is because they know that I'm not lying. And even if I don't know something, I'm not full of pride and boastfulness where I have to be like, I can't admit something or whatever. Like if I don't know something or if I'm wrong, I'll study, I'll seek the Lord, whatever. I don't need to be right. I just want my eternal home. I want to be with the Lord. I want, to get everything right, my kids to be healed, everything to be his way. I don't care about my way because I'm a human. So anyway, I think this is crazy and amazing, and I'll go into more detail on this, but these are the verses they found. It's what God hates, a liar. Okay, and people who also try to plot against one another and just want to harm one another. Okay, let's keep going. So trolls, because they're liars and they hate everyone. They're cruel to other people. So all these chapters I didn't highlight. Let's see here. Yeah, let's keep almost done. Okay, so this is where I highlighted. This is the end part. So this is chapter 14. The Lord comes and reigns. A day of the Lord is coming. Jerusalem, when you're... Oh, yeah. Jerusalem. Okay, I'm like... Yes, sorry. I got a little tied up there. Tongue-tied. A day of the Lord is coming. Jerusalem, when your possessions will be plundered and divided up within your very walls. I will gather all the nations to Jerusalem to fight against it. The city will be captured, the houses ransacked, and the women raped. Half of the city will go into exile, but the rest of the people will not be taken from the city. Then the Lord will go out and fight against these nations as he fights on the day of battle. On that day, his feet will stand on the Mount of Olives. So clearly, this is literally about the end. This is the book of Revelation. We will be split in two from east to west. Sorry, on the Mount of Olives, will be split in two from the east to west, forming a great valley with half of the mountain moving north and half moving south. You will flee by my mountain valley, for it will extend to Ezel. So that sounds like a massive earthquake. You will flee as you fled from the earthquake in the days of Uzziah, king of Judah. Then the Lord my God will come, and all the holy ones with him. Okay, so if you go to King James, I like that one better. Oh, I highlighted it here too. That's nice. I must have highlighted this before. Okay, let's see here. Where was I? I can't even see where I was. Oh, there. Sorry. Okay, verse 5. Yeah, you shall flee, and then at the bottom, and the Lord my God shall come, and all the saints with thee. So all the holy ones with him, all the saints. So that's important that word saints, because you say holy ones, people are like, oh, see, it's angels. No, he's going to come on the Mount of Olives with the saints with him. So the saints at this point must have their bodies and everything. So if you're post-trib, you must believe they already got their bodies. If you think, oh, there was just the ones who are dead. No, somehow they got their bodies, and they've been resurrected, and they've been with him, and they're coming back. Okay, so anyway. And it shall come to pass that in the day that the light shall not be clear nor dark, but it shall be one day which shall be known to the Lord, not day or night, but it shall come to pass that at evening time it shall be light. So basically it'll be always day. And it shall be in that day that living water shall go from Jerusalem, half of them towards the former sea. Okay, I'm going down. And the Lord shall be king over all the earth. In that day there shall be one Lord, and his name one. And the land shall be turned as a plain. So that's interesting, because when it says at that time the land shall be turned as a plain, I had a vision of what I believe was the millennial reign, and everything was like grasslands. There were cities. Well, I saw a city and it was cobblestone. It looked like, like if you went to like the ancient older parts of like Greece or Italy, or even like the Middle East, where it's like the brick is made by hand and everything. And even the streets, there was not pavement, like man-made pavement. So that was a dream I had. I barely have dreams, but this was like one of the ones that if it wasn't for the Lord, I'd be shocked. And I told that story a long time ago. But anyway, point being is it was amazing. And it was I believe it was the millennial reign. And it's like he got rid of everything, like all the modern buildings and everything. It was just plains. And here it even says, as the land shall be turned as a plain. So could be. I don't know if there's anything else. Oh yeah, this one I highlighted from before. And it's just talking about that we're going to go to the Feast of Tabernacles. Everyone's going to have to celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles. And yeah, now we're in Malachi. Okay, so we'll just end it at that. So personally, I found all of this absolutely amazing, that all the symbolic, like identical imagery and all the stuff that John saw in the book of Revelation, like the flying scroll, which would be this with the seals on it, and the ephah, which would be like the basket, and that the wings, it's carried away by two women with wings. And in Revelation, Israel is taken to safety with the two wings of an eagle. And and just so much symbolic stuff to the book of Revelation in Zechariah. And it is found at this very moment. All of it was really, really amazing. And for such a time as this, and I would just definitely advise, just like I said, go ahead, read Nahum, go ahead, read Zechariah, because it's the Lord speaking. This is not some YouTuber or somebody just coming out and saying, the Lord says, or I'm a prophet or whatever. Like, no, this was just found in these caves, and the Lord has control over everything. So there's no way he would let these be found at this moment and talk about that great earthquake and just that I'm going to come with my wrath and destroy everything and these things. Like, there's no way. And then the thing that is craziest is that basket with a woman inside is in Zechariah. And what did they find? This is literally the world's oldest basket ever found, with a female inside of it. It couldn't even hold a woman. So, I mean, it was a small child, but it was a female inside of a basket. And that's what it says is going to happen in the end times, according to Zechariah. And basically, if it's representing Israel, it's also according to the book of Revelation. That's crazy. Okay, so all these discoveries are for now. They're for us. They're not to be ignored. And you guys already know, preaching to the choir. So I just wanted to share all that with you. I just wanted to, basically just touch base on that, even though I know you guys already know. But yeah, when you read it through, you're just like, whoa. And what else is Zechariah talking about? I read a verse where the Lord said, there's no home for me, or, okay, I can't remember the verse, but he's talking about he wants, a temple, a home built. And Zechariah, look what it says here, rebuilding the first temple, anticipating the future temple. That's part of what Zechariah is about. And that's what is about to happen. So, I mean, that's another thing, in addition to all the other things, the judgment and the crowning Joshua with his filthy rags taken off because of the branch who made him clean, which is Jesus, and put on the righteousness because of his faith, and that, he got the crown and rewarded according to his works, not his white garment, but like his assignment. I believe it'd be his assignment or whatever else happens to us in heaven. I don't know. But yeah, these verses to me are just key because that's what they found. That's what he found. So I think this is God speaking. It's not I think, it's God speaking. He said, these are the things you are to do. Speak the truth to each other and render true and sound judgment in your courts. And, I just felt taking that personally, like Deborah, my mom named me after Deborah from the Bible, and she was a judge, and that's about courts. And, like naturally, I just naturally really do speak the truth. I'm not always nice. I'm not always pleasant and perfect. My name actually means the bee, like a bee. And when you think about a bee, bees are cute and adorable and cool. Now they're like a symbolic thing. Like people use them in a lot of decoration, and bees are pretty to look at, like as in a bug. Like you wouldn't typically like a bug, but bees are more attractive of a bug, but they're annoying and you're scared of them. They sting you. And I've always looked at that as like my polarizing personality. Like I am needed. And that's another thing about bees. Like right now we know without them, like we'd be in a lot of trouble because they pollinate everything. And they're such a small thing, but they're a small thing that you really, really, really need. And so, like you're kind of scared of them and they have a sting and a bite, but at the same time, they're super necessary. And I don't know, they produce something that's eternal. That's what the Lord showed me about my name once, that I'm producing stuff that's eternal, which honey never goes bad. I don't know if you know, but honey never spoils. So he said, if you walk with me, this is what the Lord told me, if you walk with me, I'll produce in you stuff that's going to be forever. So anyway, I'm trying to do that, but I'm only human and I'm sorry for the people. I feel bad for the people who are persecuting me and coming against me, and like everyone they do, but I'm sorry for them, because look at what it says. Like it's about to happen. Judgment is coming. And for those who can't tell the truth, like there's so many people who are lying right now. And it's so funny. I was just listening to this Lauryn Hill song. I typically listen to Christian music, but I listen to some, like that was some old school song I just randomly started listening to. And if you guys don't know Lauryn Hill, she was like 90s, 2000s, I don't know, R&B, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. It's like the CD. So I heard this one song on it randomly, and it just really stuck with me. And the song, the lyrics, I can't play it because of YouTube, but the song lyrics is something like, she said something like, a friend told her once, and she found to be true, that every day people lie to God too. So what makes you think that they won't lie to you? And that really stuck with me. Like in the beginning, she says people lie to themselves. And people lie to God, so why won't they lie to you? And that's the thing I've always struggled with. That because by nature, I don't really lie to myself or to God. Like I said, I think out loud in the way that the things that are in my head come out of my mouth. Sometimes they're not nice, and I have to control that and pray on that and work on that. But usually they are. But in general, like, it's just, that's how I am. And I don't want to focus on me, but I'm just saying, I think this is speaking to all of us that if you're lying to God or yourself, like these trolls or whatever, like it's just going to end badly. I mean, I don't know what dream world, and some people are under deep deception. They've let spirits into their life, so these spirits control their brains to some extent, but you can get out. Just say, Jesus, free me, stop this. Like, I run to you, Jesus, and the enemy will flee. So if you're lying to yourself or God, there's no point, because he won't be mocked. And I think that is what he's trying to say here. And I think he's saying it through me. I know he's saying it through me. Because it matches my name. So anyway, that's my little message on that one. And that other verse, the second part of the verse, it says, this is the second part that they found in the cave, and let none of you imagine evil in your hearts against his neighbor, and love no false oath. Against that's love no lie. It's about lies. For all these are things that I hate, saith the Lord. So he's telling you straight up, he hates lies. And don't try to plot things against your neighbors. This is like a message to trolls, but I said they're under deep deception, and nobody worry about me, please, in the comments. I'm not huge with the pity thing. Like, don't worry about me. I'm cool. Pray for me. Pray for one another. And I'm working on me. And every day I just try to ask the Lord to help me with my faults. But inevitably, I feel totally in line with him, in love with him, in a good place. But that said, I may be taking a small break because I have some other ministry goals. I do believe we're at the end, and I don't know if I'll be allowed to take a break, but I'm going to talk to you guys in the next video kind of about my thoughts on some things, because I was really confused for a little bit about some stuff, as you guys know. And now I feel a lot more better and more sure. Some ways I feel worse, but I feel more sure about some things because I've gotten a lot of answers to my whys. So my questions I had. So we'll talk about that. And like I said, I might be taking a bit of a break, but don't worry about me. Pray for me, and I pray for you guys. And yeah, so I hope that blessed you and was interesting to you. Read Nahum, read Zechariah. It'll bless you, and it is for now. So until next time, I will talk to you guys again soon. God bless, and shalom.